Tuesday, I believe it is. Welcome to another session of the Social Media Masterclass. I am Renee Tompkins, the Social Media Manager at Lair Realty Partners. In today's class, we'll be going over the best social media content marketing strategy and understanding what that is and how to develop it. Social media do's and don'ts, as well as we're going to talk about what's called fame assets, maybe a term you're not familiar with, but definitely something, the components of your fame assets should certainly be something you're utilizing and very familiar with. We're going to get into mindsets for success, as well as I've got some kudos to share actually as well too this month, and some recommended reading. As you all know, I'm a book fanatic, love reading, love learning. So I do have a book selection for you this month, and we'll leave time for Q&A as well. So as with all of the social media masterclasses, we do have expectations that you will maintain a growth mindset. I think that is so important while attending any class. Be open to making results-based changes that will grow your business. Everything is that you're learning is great, but unless you back it up with an intentional action plan, it really is just sort of a waste of time. So we want to make sure that you are maintaining, number one, a growth mindset, that you do take notes and interact by asking questions. And if you've got any impactful stories to share, we would love to hear from you. And then also challenge yourself to develop your own social media success strategy. Say that 10 times fast, but come up with your own plan. In some of the suggestions I pose to you today may not be something that you vibe with, and that's cool. But I would challenge you to come up with some strategies that do. So really, when you think about social media, and this is in the context of people that want to grow their business on social media. Really, the goal of social media is to turn all of your friends and followers into a volunteer marketing army that won't hesitate to spread the word to help you grow your business and tell people how amazing you are. So when you think in terms of social media, think in terms of being very strategic as you grow your business and you spread your word. And some things to think about. Marketing is really not just about sharing content. It's about creating connections, like heartfelt, true connections, and building trust. And we'll get into that later in today's class. But I always say social media, your friends list, and I'll bring it up again later. Your friends list is a room. Think of it like as a room full of people that deserve the best from you. You wouldn't walk into a room and just stand against the wall and not interact with anyone, or just walk by them and totally ignore them. You just wouldn't do that. That's not cool. So, and again, this is going back to building your business on social media, and that's committing to being a pro, like going all in with it. And you can equate that to being an entrepreneur or being in real estate. You need to get over your fear of rejection and say goodbye to your comfort zone in order to succeed. And we'll talk about various ways to do that. I always feel like social media provides such an amazing opportunity for anyone to grow their business. It's really like just wow. All right, let's get into understanding the best social media content marketing strategy. Before we do, a couple of things to think about. In marketing without a content strategy is like a goal without an intention. You can aim, but it's sort of like aimless, right? Efforts that don't have any intention will give you that same level of result, right? You'll get lack of intention will give you that lack of result. With clear intentions, you can achieve more specific results. You can even write down your intentions for your marketing strategy. And you can try and feel what works for you. You can sort of even test it out and do several things and decide what feels best for you. But as I said earlier, social media, really, because of social media, you can share so much. You can share your blogs, your articles, your videos, your standard media. It's never the opportunity to reach a consumer, a friend, someone in your sphere, a connection has never been better, all thanks to social media. And I have to say, when it comes to the mindset of real estate agents and social media, again, and when I say social media and real estate agents, I'm talking about agents that want to grow their business on social media. It's really so much more than, I sell houses. Yes, you do, but it's so much, it goes so deep, so much more deeper than that. It's a relationship business that really you want to cultivate based on recognition, likability, and trust. And so how do you do that? You build recognition by engaging consistently with people and sharing content. So being present. And again, equate that to the walking in the room scenario. You wouldn't walk in with the intention of interacting with anybody to just stand against a wall and not do it. You've got to be engaging. So again, this is how you build recognition on social media. And how do you build likability on social media? You do that by being genuine and authentic. And let me say this, and we'll talk about this again later in the class, and this is one of my favorite mindsets for success quotes. It's in this one. It's been in pretty much all of my master classes, is done is better than perfect. So when you are doing videos or interviews or whatever whatever content you're sharing, and it's not perfect, don't hesitate to share that, because I really believe the perfection is in the imperfection. Sometimes it makes you more authentic and genuine. Are any of us perfect? Right? So we all have our catchphrases, as I call them. We all might stutter from time to time. We all might misspeak. But I would say that stuff makes you more authentic. And then how do you build trust? And trust is something you build by demonstrating your worthiness of it. And I always say, become an epic storyteller. This was in, I think, my first or second masterclass, where I talked about the importance and some skills and tips I shared on how to tell epic stories. And I say this because this is really the stuff that moves people. Real estate isn't always neat and clean, right? There's many transactions where there's bumps, there's a lot of emotions that are involved. And it's okay to share those stories. In fact, I encourage it. How elated your clients are finally getting to the closing table, and some of the hurdles maybe they had to climb over to accomplish this epic goal. So again, storytelling is an art. Definitely something worth developing your skills in, for sure. I will say this, I've shared over the years that I've been in real estate, I've shared a variety of content, and every single time I've shared an impactful story, meaning I've talked about the emotion, I talked about the challenges, I would always get messages in my messenger following, people, oh my gosh, I read your post about this, and wow. And I've gotten, on average, I would say I would probably close anywhere from about 8 to 10 deals a year from social media. Not bad, not great, but it's better than paying a referral fee, right? So again, becoming an epic storyteller is your key to success on social media. I have a question for you. So when you talk about, when you relate yourself to real estate, what is it that you think you sell? And you can see on the screen, it definitely is not houses, which might surprise some of you. And some of you might say, I sell my services myself. No, that's not it either. So just take a quick second with me and think what that answer might be if you're not selling houses. You're selling your expertise. People hire you because of your expertise. Similarly, when I'm seeing a chiropractor right now, I'm going to a local chiropractor that I checked out before I went to. I did a lot of research to narrow down which expert professional I was going to trust. So think of your real estate business in the same way. Yes, you sell houses, but you're really selling your expertise. That is why somebody will hire you. And you initially deliver your expertise on social media through your content, right? So your content is the segue for building great relationships and trusting relationships. As you are time blocking on social media to build your business, constantly be thinking in terms of value and contribution. Who can I help today? So this is a mindset. And if you are time blocked, and I say time blocked, I'll get into it briefly with you. I've talked about it in past social media masterclasses. Is a time block is something that is non-negotiable on your schedule, that only in the case of a true emergency would you slide that block over. You never delete or cancel the time block. Although it can be changed, it must still be fulfilled. And think of it as a personal appointment with yourself, just as you would not cancel on a $3.5 million listing appointment or a physician appointment that you've had booked for several months. Don't cancel out on yourself. These time blocks are an investment in your business and your future. So they are non-negotiable. Although they can be moved, they should never be canceled. So when you sit down for your social media time block, be very purposeful and intentful, and always be thinking, who can I help today? And also think and believe that you provide a good service. People deserve strong, solid representation, the kind of representation that you provide. So don't shy away from thinking, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to inundate the feed. I don't want to come across too pushy. Shut that down. You are growing your business and you provide a valuable service that anyone would benefit from if they were needing real estate expertise. And also, I will say this, remember, everywhere you post is a giant billboard for your business, and you're silently being interviewed by people that you don't know. So especially on social media, always be putting your most positive professional foot forward. All right, let's get into some content marketing strategies for success. One strategy that is very successful is what's called a content blitz. And this is when you you put an uber focus on your content. And I'll get into some tips on how to do that. But basically, every week you're provided, if you're a layer agent, you're provided with dynamic content for both stories, reels, and the standard feed, along with captions, emojis, contact information. Everything's already built in for you. So you don't have to really spend any time on that unless you choose to edit it or change it. So you should be posting that as well as video content. And many of my social media masterclasses have spoken about video tips, tools, tricks. So please go back and watch some of that stuff, but a lot of your content should be video content. Let's talk about blitzing for optimum engagement. So again, blitzing is that uber focused effort on getting as much content out at one time as possible, meaning it can also be scheduled, but building it, scheduling it, etc. So blitzing for optimum engagement. If you have under 1,000 followers, you should be posting 14 posts a week. Sounds like a lot, but it's really twice a day. That's not a lot when you think about it. Anything over 1,000 followers, you should be posting 14 to 20. So that's about 3 posts a day, give or take. That's still not a lot when you think about it, given the fact that one of those posts is already done for you. All you've got to do is share it. And we'll talk about videos coming up, but here are 3 successful strategies for blitzing. One is chopping. So, oh, no, I knew I skipped a screen. All right, the first one is batch recording. And I've talked about this before as well, too. Now, I know some of you are in the car, you're recording your videos on the go. And initially that sounds like a really great strategy, and it is working. I can see some of you doing it, and it's all good. But here's the thing, as you get super busy in your business, life may change, your schedule might get interrupted. That strategy might not always work, which is why we recommend doing batching. And that's really where you set up, really, you can do it weekly, you can do it monthly. I recommend doing it monthly if you're busy. So you're scheduling one day a month to record various different videos. And we'll talk about in a minute how you can even put those videos to work for you. But I believe batching is the way to go. You can utilize, there's so many different tools out there for using teleprompters. There's Big View, there's teleprompter, to make that type of video easier. But I got to say something, I actually use the Big View, and my personal take on it was it is a good tool if you are somebody that's more comfortable reading scripts. But if you find that you're too uptight and focused on the actual script instead of the emotion and the authentic message that you're trying to convey, it might not be for you. So take that for what it's worth. All right. Next is chopping. And that's where you've got this video that might be 3 minutes, and you're chopping it up. So you're breaking it up into quick segments, and you can do that. Any video editor would offer you the opportunity to chop your videos. Another technique is what's called sampling. And this is where you use your green screen and you superimpose yourself behind, say, a local or a trending news article or something that's happening in your town. This type of video content keeps your news, your social media feed fresh, informative. People love it. So it's certainly something worth trying out to keep eyes on your content. And here's an epic pro tip that I am a huge fan of. Don't make it all about real estate, okay? And I'm talking about on your professional page. Create a series of content that has nothing to do with real estate, but it is something that you're super passionate about. And you can even take this content and make it into a video series, but I'm talking about stuff like wellness, books, reading, you can see the list here, nature. What are you passionate about? Hiking, yoga, if you love to cook. All right, her name's not coming to me. It will. Fabulous agent in the Athol office did a video where she was cooking and talking about the update on the market while she was cooking. And she was talking about the recipe as well, too. I thought that was so ingenious. So there are many ways that you can get creative on your page. So when you think of content, you say, okay, I'm so sort of dried up with real estate content. Yes, it's all about buyers, sellers, investors, market updates, anything happening in the market, trends, rates, etc. I get it. This is an amazing opportunity for you to switch up your content and make sure you're sharing something. And when you do something like this, it makes you more relatable, right? So you want to be talking about, I have an agent on our team in Tewksbury that she shares pizza. She loves pizza. So that is what she shares and she loves. She's growing her business on social media by also doing Small Business Saturday series. So don't rely just solely on your real estate content is what I'm saying. Get out there, share pictures of your family, some traveling, etc. There's so much you can be sharing. All right. Strategy number 2 is what's called omni-channel distribution. And this is where you take your blitzing, your epic content, and you put it everywhere. Think about this for a second. When you do, say, geo-farm mailings, and you want to target a condo community, just as an example, are you going to say, okay, there's 300 units in this condo community, but I'm only going to target 25? Would you do that? Not really, right? So make sure you are getting your content, get it everywhere, leave no stone unturned. So think outside the box when it comes to sharing your content. Don't just share your content on social media. This is what we're going to talk about for the next few screens is, although some people consider YouTube a social media channel, that's debatable, but you should be sharing your videos definitely on YouTube. Do not overlook YouTube. I know a lot of you share your videos directly to Instagram, TikTok, etc., but get them on YouTube. YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. So don't ever overlook YouTube, please. Share your content on your blog, on your website, in your email newsletter. You're getting an email newsletter if you're a layer agent through Exact, or I'm sure any of the CRMs that you may be using provide that. You can also copy and paste some content right into your raw report, which is another service Layer provides, as well as a printed newsletter if you're doing one. You can share this content on your business, your Google business profile, which is something I talked about a few classes ago. Everybody should have a Google business profile. This is how people search for you. You can link it to your website, your Layer website, but you should definitely have a Google business profile. You do that by going to Google directly, google.biz, and requesting one. And then here's an idea. Your condo, if you want to market yourself in a condo community, I'm telling you right now, where values are still pretty up there for condo owners specifically, I would say target condo communities and see if you can get in their newsletter, whatever. That's a charge they may, it could be 50, 100. I would say, because it's targeted marketing. That is something worth considering doing. All right, and here's some third-party publishing tools to help make life a little easier for you, but I'm going to caution you on the next screen about these. So some third-party publishing tools, meaning schedulers, are Hootsuite, Buffer, Sprout Social, Later, Sendable, and Planly. We use Sendable at Layer. Excuse me. And some live streaming tools. So this is if you choose to go live and you want to stream live on various channels, you're going to check out Restream or StreamYard. Both are excellent options there. But here's your caution. I highly encourage you not to get too automated with this stuff, because here's where people fall flat with social media. They've got the videos. They've got the content. They don't have the time. So they're using automation to help with their posts. And that's still good, because there's no proof out there that using these third-party publishing tools affect your reachability. So they're all good in terms of use them what they're intended for. But here's the caution. Don't use them, set it and forget it, right? You still need to stay connected to your audience by engaging and posting consistently. So this is, again, where I talk about going back to time blocking. So especially if you're using a third-party automation tool, you want to be very purposeful and intentful on social media. And again, this is for people looking to build their business on social. So time blocking, and again, with that mindset, who can I help today? Right? And think of always providing, always contributing. And I will say this on every class. Again, think of your friends list as a room full of people that deserve your time and attention. So when someone comments on your post, at the very minimum, you should be reacting to it, if not commenting back. Keep them engaged. And this means that by doing this, they'll see your posts on their feed, because the algorithms love when people engage. They feed off of it. The algorithm feeds off of engagement. So if you want to be seen by more people, you've got to engage with them. It doesn't matter what you post. Well, it does. But at the end of the day, it's all about engagement. So here are some tips to increase your engagement. and ask questions. So one of the things that I used to do, and I plan to do again once I become licensed here, is to post pictures of any room. And I used to pick rooms that had something that most people wouldn't like about them. So don't always pick like a beautiful staged kitchen. Maybe go something that would elicit comments. So once in a while I would, like, I remember sharing this one picture. It was of a kitchen, but the entire kitchen cabinets were Kelly green. The rest of the kitchen had, marble counters, beautiful appliance. But, and this is, it was still a lovely kitchen. It was just different. And I purposely shared this, and I got over 120 comments about, well, I would do this, I like it, but etc. So be strategic when you ask those questions, and you can also use polls. You definitely want to start posting to stories and reels feeds if you're not, because again, more people are on those feeds, believe it or not, than the standard feeds. And as a layer agent, you do get your stories and reels posts as part of your weekly social media. And then again, I'll say this again, react and comment on your friends' posts on the feed, but also respond to comments on your own. So when you're on, especially Facebook, Instagram, and you're on the feed, don't just react, but take time to comment as well. That's the stuff that builds your interaction. And then message people and check in with them. I saw your post on so-and-so, I'm so sorry, or that's great news. So take the time to really build a connection. And when you do this, always be authentic. Don't do it with people. If you don't want to connect with that person, then don't do it. When you're messaging somebody to check in and be authentic, it really does go back to the relationship. So make sure that you are doing it with the sole intention of really checking in with them. And recommend service providers. People love that, and recommend restaurants. Oh my gosh, check into a restaurant and take a picture of your dinner, what you liked about it, what you loved about it, etc. People love hearing that because, again, it makes you more relatable. And I will also say, again, always become that epic storyteller. So maybe share the story as to why you chose the specific restaurant and how the service was above and beyond. Don't just check in and say great dinner. Become more skilled at becoming a storyteller. Practice it out on maybe those simpler type of posts before you bring it into your real estate transaction posts. So another important thing here is it's important that you develop a system. So that might mean, okay, I'm on Facebook and I'm not really getting a lot of business from Facebook. So that requires you to analyze your behavior on Facebook. Number one, do you have a professional page? Do you, how often do you talk real estate and how often do you talk life? Right. So make sure you've got a great balance and you've got consistency, but make sure you're getting your content everywhere. Don't limit yourself by being on just one social media channel. People are everywhere today, especially since the pandemic. My gosh, people have dove into social media and videos since the pandemic. It's become normalcy. And it was big even before the pandemic, but I'm just saying it's really taken off since. So really, I would challenge each of you after this class to develop your system. And then don't neglect the basics. Don't neglect your newsletter and your raw report. These are additional places where you can put your content. And then make sure you're scheduling and time blocking. Time blocking is something you got to practice, I think, especially when it comes to social media, because it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of shopping and, oh, look at that ad. I catch myself, it's sometimes at night when I'm, after we've had dinner and I'm unwinding, I have my fun social media time. And I want, my intent is to connect with a couple agents, see how they're doing, etc. And then I get on this, herbal tea or whatever. So I'm just saying it's very easy to get off track, and I get it. Which is why, again, you always want to remember, what is the intention? Am I in a time block, or am I just doing it for fun? So make sure when you are time blocked, it's part of your schedule and part of your intent to be very purposeful on social media during that time. And here's a time blocking tip. I've shared this in past classes. Start small. Don't sit and say, okay, I'm gonna sit here for 3 hours and be very purposeful. If it's your first time block, I would say start with a 30-minute time block and then build from there. You want to build confidence. You don't want to look back and say, I'm no good at this. And it's easy to do that when you've set yourself up with this, large window to time block in, and you're easily distracted during that time. So another time blocking pro tip is to ask for support and let people know, I'm in a 30-minute time block, please don't disturb me. And here's another pro tip is put it away. When I say a 30-minute time block, I think that's ideal, because nothing can't wait for 30 minutes unless, of course, emergency strikes. But I would say 30 minutes on average works for most people. So your third strategy, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. Your third strategy is paid amplification. Put some money behind your posts to reach a larger audience. And I say this because I always want to encourage you to start thinking of social media just like you would a geo farm, right? Excuse me. And so how many of you are doing postcards? I was emailed by an awesome Blair agent maybe a few weeks back asking for assistance with a postcard. And after she went through the cost to do it, the printing, I don't know if she ultimately decided, I think she ultimately decided not to do it, was my take on it. So here's what I would say to you. Start thinking of your social media as a geo farming as well too. And this will come into play with your paid amplification. So I'll share with you an interesting statistic in a minute, which might encourage you to put this on your business plan. But some of the best ads you can run is part of your paid amplification. Client testimonials are huge, recent sales, your new listings and open houses and video tips. But when it comes to recent sales and client testimonials, I would share those pieces, but again, be that epic storyteller. Move people to want to reach out to you. I'm telling you, they will. And then here's a question for you. If you're already getting business from social media, what would happen if you targeted more people? Think about it. If you're already connecting with people on a level that is inspiring them or motivating them to do business with you, whether they trust you, like you, know you, etc., why not target a larger group of people? And you can do that by boosting a post through Facebook and Instagram. I will say boosting is not as effective as running a true ad through your ads manager, which will ask you what the goal is, the agenda. You can even upload your contact list into ads manager through your custom audience option. There's a lot of choices on where to run ads. You can retarget your Instagram followers, and keep this in mind. This is the quote that I was going to share with you that I said might surprise some of you, is that only about 10% of your followers see your posts. So to ensure that everybody sees them, do what's called the pay to play or do paid amplification. You can also target a town or a community. And this is where I talk about geo farming. So if you're doing postcards, why not, again, let them see you on social media as well too? I mean, this is an amazing opportunity. Really, social media is nothing but opportunity to grow your business. I mean, it's really amazing. So again, you can even ask Meta to target people like the people on your list. So if you're uploading a list through Ads Manager, You can also say target similar interests, people with similar interests. And again, another amazing opportunity. Before social media was a thing, think of how the average agent built their business, right? Through mailings, through networking, and all of those things are great. I'm not saying to replace them. I'm just saying the opportunities with social media are like wow, mind-blowing. And you can also run your ads on TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and YouTube. Again, YouTube, huge, number 2 search engine in the world. Everybody should have a YouTube channel. So again, if you haven't run ads and you're thinking, I'm on the fence about it, here's why you should run your ads. It builds your brand awareness, which if you aren't really wanting to do, I would really question your business plan. It builds trust, it builds referrals, and overall builds your business. And in addition, it is a tax write-off because it's an investment in your marketing. So everybody should be running ads as well as having a YouTube channel. And ads, you can even, you can decide. They're one of the ways to grow your business that's the least costly, I will say. So let's get into some social media do's and don'ts. Some things that you're going to want to take note of. So one thing I have to say is make it easy for people to find you. Meaning, let me say this. I can't say how many times I will be designing a social media piece to welcome a new agent to the brokerage. And I'll see, number one, I have to find them. They're not easy to find. So I would say, definitely you've got to be comfortable putting yourself out there. It's like a business that you might struggle to find, right? Chances are you might give up and go somewhere else, right? So think about, let me go back to that for a second. So meaning I've searched for people on social media and they'll have their, they won't have a professional page, or they'll lack their contact information on either page. So they won't reference a website, an email, they might have a phone number. So again, you want to be very across the board, think about when you are putting yourself out there. And so this is stuff that should be on every website, meaning your website. Yes, you should have a website and it should be on there, but also your social media pages, even your MLS. Some of you have old websites on your MLS. You don't have a profile picture on your MLS. And you also want to update your third-party websites, such as your Zillow, Realtor.com, etc., Homelight. If you're on any of these websites and you have made a brokerage switch or you are registering for the first time, make sure all of your contact information is consistent across the board, even on your personal social media pages. And we'll talk about personal pages in a minute. And another thing I would love to see everybody have is a link tree. Now it's a free website that you are basically just housing all of your contacts, your websites, your social media pages, your links to videos, your links to this, that. It's a way for people, it's a way for people to easily find and reach you. So I would definitely I would not hesitate to get a link tree or a similar type of site and get that set up. That is something everybody should have. Again, the sole purpose is to make it easy for people to find you. Another thing I would ask is the team leaders, as you are onboarding new agents to your team, make sure this is done. So quality check them as part of your onboarding process to your team. Go through a check, provide them with a checklist of things that need to be done, and then follow up to ensure that it has been done. You don't want people on your team saying they're still with XYZ brokerage. It's not the case. So the importance of creating a business page, if you are a business, it's a must, right? So, and that, I guess it comes down to recognizing that you are a business. and treating your schedule, your week, owning it, going all in. So branding yourself, setting yourself up for success by creating business pages, and putting your contact information everywhere. So it should not be something that anybody has to look and try to figure out. Another tip would be to check your privacy settings. So here's the thing. Your profile photos and cover photos are public. So make sure that they're appropriate, number one, especially on your personal page. And secondly, read the comments. You don't want anything inappropriate in the comments because those comments are public, because the post is public. You also want to check your tag settings. So when someone tags you, you have the option to approve the tag before it gets seen on your profile. Or have no one tag you. You have that option. So definitely check your tag settings. Also your privacy settings on the pages you follow, your likes, etc., or go through them and make sure that they're appropriate for anybody to see if you choose to keep them public. Another tip is to clean up your old photos. Go through them because some of them may no longer be in alignment with your new professional image or your current professional image. You can certainly also make some of them just viewable to yourself. You don't have to delete them, but I always just say keep things current. And then Google yourself. You might be surprised at what you see. So make sure that you are cleaning up not just the sites you're currently on, but if you Google yourself, some old sites will come up and remind you that they need to be cleaned up as well too. Another tip I would recommend is that you have a logo designed that's in alignment with your branding. You want to use your logos in your social media pieces. If you're a layer agent, you have the option to customize any of the pieces that we send you weekly, so you can update them with your own logo. Your profile, or excuse me, your cover photo is also, layer agents receive a monthly cover photo, and you can customize that as well too. Avoid using busy logos, logos that just too busy. You want it to be easily identified and look representative, as I said, of who you are and what your brand is. Logos should be transparent, multicolor, in whatever brand colors you're going with. You should also do a logo in black and white, not black and white together. Meaning, because not all photos will work with brand colors. So it's important that you have one that's black and one that's white as well too. And if you are a team, that's the only way, or excuse me, that's the only time that your logo should be used as your profile picture, or a brokerage like Layer. But individuals should not be using their logos as their profile pictures. People want to connect with you. You are your business. Yes, you have a logo and use that on your pieces, but don't make the profile picture your logo. Just use it to accent your pieces. So I'm going to share something that this might seem not agreeable to some of you, but and I'd love to hear from you if it is. But avoid using a town, a county, and even a state in your branding, as it's considered limited. And I'm going to share with you a few things, but basically, yes, you definitely want to grow your business locally, right? That's your market, whatever your market is, grow it, own it, love it. I'm talking about putting that county, the state, the city, whatever, in your actual branding name, because it's limited. And you don't want people to think, well, she only services Massachusetts. She only services Tewksbury, right? And even if that's your intention now, you might grow your business, life changes, right? I mean, so, and you might end up growing a team someday, or bringing on people to assist you grow the business and grow their business. And they might be licensed in other areas and states. So now that requires a rebranding. So that's why I say, when it comes to actual team names or your business name, I would say avoid using names like Massachusetts, although Massachusetts is a very large region, you just don't know where your business is going to take you. So, but again, certainly grow it locally, just don't brand it locally, if that makes sense. All right. Another thing to keep in mind is every post and interaction is seen by your audience unless privacy settings prevent it, correct? I mean, I think we all get that, we know that. So let's be mindful of posts and commenting regarding politics, sensitive social issues, excessive alcohol posts, and complaining about the business. Although, some people might think some of these posts are funny and that might be your intention. It's not really when you think about it, because you're really ultimately hurting either your brokerage's image, your team's image, yourself, and your professional image when you do that. And anything that might be perceived as hurtful or inappropriate. So that requires that you think bigger and you consider who's on your friends list. And I'm going to talk about this next statement. Keep in mind, you might think that your social media posts are private. You've got a customized audience, whatever. Here's the thing, they're not. And let me tell you why. If anybody on your friends list that can see that post has taken a screenshot of it, guess what? It's no longer private. So please keep that in mind. Don't believe that you're only posting to a select audience. I always say, only share what you'd be comfortable anybody knowing, anybody seeing on social media. So other than that, maybe just make it a phone call if you need to vent about something, but social media isn't the place for that. All right. And here's something to keep in mind, when it comes to your presence on social media is when the market gets tough, the consumer will always feel more comfortable with the knowledge broker, the agent with the best track record, who's most credible and relatable and always out there helping their community. The one that they happen to just see everywhere. Oh, I just got a postcard. I see you on social media. I see you at the town day or at the farmer's market, whatever. So let me ask you, how recognizable are you as your brand? Where, how out there are you with your real estate social media marketing? And when I say real estate social media marketing, yes, I'm talking real estate content, but I also want to include and pepper in that consistent sharing of that passionate thing that you do, that you love, right? So for me, that is wellness, tea, and books and gardening now. So I am fanatic about that. And as I'm building my brand here, I plan to incorporate that stuff very consistently. I can't wait to, by the way, I'm so eager. Anyway, so think about that stuff as you are, again, being intentful and purposeful on social media. How recognizable is my brand and what message are you sending to your audience? Remember, even your private posts can be public thanks to screenshots. So let's get into fame assets. Who's heard of fame assets? I think the term, I love the term, and I own this. I don't own it personally, but in my mind, I own this term now because I feel like I think about my fame assets all the time. And these are components that of your marketing that are used to establish massive influence so that you become the agent of choice for anybody out there that wants to buy, sell, invest, or better yet, refer. So fame assets are the mechanisms that you're using to build influence. Sounds like so glamorous, right? But there's stuff that you're doing, trust me, and you'll be surprised at them. So what are your fame assets? Let's get into it. They could be, and now you're thinking, seriously, such a glamorous name, and that's what they are. But yes, think about it. So fame assets, and these are mechanisms for building your brand and your business. So they could be postcard mailings. They could be your email newsletter, your billboards, your TV and radio ads, whatever you're using. Outside of your email newsletter, the least costly and time consuming, well, even your email newsletter might be a little time consuming depending on what it is your social media. Again, it's the greatest opportunity out there for people who want to connect and contribute, right? Just be of contribution. So least costly and time consuming are on social media are general media posts that you get these every week. They're already done for you with the exception of anything you want to tweak through your ability to customize the post. Just copy, paste, post, and go. And this allows you more time to be super intentful and purposeful to build your business, right? That's the purpose of these posts. They're already done for you. Again, if you want to customize them, do it. But other than that, it really opens up your calendar, right? Having these done for you, and they're free to the Layer agents. So it's not a subscription service. It's nothing that you're under contract for. It's completely free. Done. Great. Another least costly is your video content. Here's a suggestion. Use the social media content captions. And if you are one of those people that can do your teleprompter or your big view, copy and paste it right into there and read them and make them as videos. You do have that option. And then you can also connect with people through events, through groups, and boosting your posts and creating ads. And another thing too, I notice whenever I say that I'm interested in an event and I, click it, people will message me, oh my gosh, let me know how that was. I went to one out here. They're not even local to where I am, but they're like that. I love that they're doing that, etc. So, great way to share content on social media. So, and something else to keep in mind is being recognized attracts more opportunities. It's like you become a magnet, right? And you don't attract business without authentically attracting two things. One is relatability and trustworthiness. The key, this is really all about a relationship, and which means, and don't do it fake. I've told many people, on our team, anybody that I've coached, do it from your heart. It's like getting into real estate just solely for the money. No, it's not. It won't last long term for you, right? You've got to do it authentically. So, in being relatable, here's an idea. Here's a content idea that just came to me. Post bloopers sometimes, right? Blooper videos will probably get more eyes on your content than the actual content sometimes. So again, it makes you human, and people vibe with that because after all, that's who we all are. So it's something to go to trust, which is very interesting statistic here. The Gen Z and the millennials place trust in advertising more important than any other generation ever, which is interesting. And that why? Because they're on social media, and their number one rating for trusting a professional was word of mouth recommendation. And especially if you're a new agent, you want to be connecting and building this trust. And social media is such an easy way to do that. You've just got to go all in. You've got to develop your plan and your content strategy. And as I said, you're already getting half of your content delivered to you. If you're under those 1,000 followers and you've got to get 14 posts a week, half of them are provided to you on average every week. So now you've just got to fill the other half. And that is if you batch record and you time block and schedule it as part of your calendar, and you've got to put it on your calendar, because if it's not in writing, you won't commit to it. You'll most likely ditch the plan or find some other thing to get involved with, and you'll find that you've never done it. So be very committed to this. And remember, always remember, we're not selling houses. We're selling the expertise and the way we convey our expertise, and that is content, right? So you want to dominate the top of the food chain, because the most recognizable agent in any local marketplace will always come out on top. And let me just say this. So there might be a handful of really top heavy hitters in your marketplace, correct? Most marketplaces have them. Who cares? You have just as much right to that number one spot as they do. So the minute you don't try, you decide not to try, is the minute you've said, I'm good. I'm not even going to go for this, right? Everything happens at the moment of decision, and the universe loves a committed person because the energy that radiates from that person is undeniable. So knowing that you have just as much right to the number one slot as they do, doesn't that, like, I don't know, it just like enthuses me. Like, yes, let's go. Let's do it. So when it comes to social media, you got to think, why play small when only, about 10% of my audience is seeing the post? Why am I playing small? And you've got to expand and think of it this way. What would happen not just to your business, but to your overall life, to your family's life, if you became the top agent in your marketplace? Now, you might think, oh, well, with that means I'm going to be super busy and I won't have time for it. No. With that means you can grow your business and have other people assist you and in turn help them grow their business. So think growth minded, right? Never come if your mindset is one where you immediately find that you're in a lack mindset, catch yourself. I mean, we all do it sometimes. None of us, we're not perfect. We get it. I get it. Life happens. And sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, wait, no, that's not the vibe I'm trying to give off here. So catch yourself with it. But again, why wouldn't you target a larger audience where most people are hanging out? Where are they hanging out? Where are you hanging out, right? Most likely you're on social media at some point of your day. And as I said earlier, it's also a tax write-off. If you're a new agent, you should definitely meet with an accountant to learn about your business and tax write-offs. All right, I've got some kudos as we're getting ready to wrap up, but I have some kudos to share today. And these are just people that I'm connected with on social media that I'm seeing really get out there, share video content more consistently than just one and done, right? So I've got to, and forgive me if I say anybody's name wrong, but I have to give kudos to Brian Pereira, who is just rocking it on the video scene. He's sharing some very authentic content, and I love it. Sarah Lewis is a rock star when it comes to her social media content. She's got video series going on. She's got all kinds of even listings. She's got a basement renovation series going on. She's owning it. Jason Howe, Dan Capra, Jessica Provencher, Sharon Narbone, Olivia Paris, the Hometown Team, which is Sarah and Kara, Kimberly Couplist, as well as the Pisano Group and Bridget Diorio are all really putting their best efforts and best foot forward when it comes to video. You are inspiring, to say the least. So if some of you are not connected with these rock stars on social media, definitely do so, because you will definitely get inspired after watching some of their content. Let's get into some quick mindsets for success. And one is, I always say, done is better than perfect. All progress takes place outside the comfort zone. I live that. I know that is 100% fact in my life. And the distance between dreams and reality is called action. So it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you do. And you only get out what you put in. Here's one that's more of affirmation, right? It's, I'm in charge of my own success. I take ownership of it today. So no more excuses, which I believe is the next one. Lean in and level up. That is my mantra for this year. Probably actually for the rest of my life, I'll say lean in and level up. I love it. Excuses don't get results. And you got to watch as you feed into your own excuses. Call yourself out on that stuff. A great attitude is not the result of success. Success is the result of a great attitude. And this is part of manifesting mindset. It's all tied in. And consistency is what transforms average into excellence. It's 100% fact. My recommended reading. Yes, this is Braving the Wilderness by Brene Brown. And really, it might not be for everybody, but it talks about becoming who you are and the courage to be that person. So a quote from the book is, true belonging doesn't require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are. And this was really intended for those of you that might be hesitant or uncertain or weary of putting yourself out there, making videos, etc. Let's get over that, right? Let's own who we are. So this is my book selection for this month's masterclass. And I do have time for Q&A. Anybody? I'm gonna any Q&A? I don't see anything. So for next month, we have our next social media masterclass will be on Thursday, July 20th. Another 1-hour session beginning at 12:30. And I want to invite you to never, ever miss another opportunity to learn and grow. You can sync your calendar with the Lair training calendar by visiting lairrealty.com/training. And that wraps up our class for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. I truly enjoyed the last hour, and I hope you did too. And we will see you at next month's session. Thanks so much.